The United Nations is an organization tasked with maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, achieving international cooperation, and being a center for harmonizing the action of nations. It was established after World War II with the aim of preventing future wars and succeed the ineffective League of Nations. Its headquarters are in Manhattan, New York City, and it has other main offices in Geneva, Nairobi, and Vienna. The organization is financed by access and voluntary contributions from its member states. Its, its objectives include maintaining international peace and security, protecting human rights, delivering humanitarian aid, promoting sustainable development, and upholding international law. The UN is the largest, most familiar, most internationally represented, and most powerful organization in the world. At its founding, the UN had 51 member states. There are now 193. Functions and powers. As it was in the past, the main function of the UN today is to maintain peace and security for all of its member states. Though the UN does not maintain its own military, it does have peacekeeping forces that are supplied by its member states. On approval of the UN Security Council, these peacekeepers are, for example, sent to regions where armed conflict has recently ended to discourage combatants from resuming fighting. In 1988, the peacekeeping force won a Nobel Prize for its actions. In addition, the UN plays an integral part in social and economic development through its own UN Development Program. This is the largest source of technical grant assistance in the world. The World Health Organization, the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, the UN Population Fund, and the World Bank Group, to name a few, play an essential role in this aspect of the UN. The parent organization also annually publishes the Human Development Index to rank countries in terms of poverty, literacy, education, and life expectancy. History. The earliest concrete plan for a new world organization began under the aegis of the U.S. State Department in 1939. The text of the Declaration by United Nations was drafted at the White House on December 29, 1941, by President Franklin Roosevelt, Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Roosevelt aide Harry Hopkins. It incorporated Soviet suggestions but left no role for France. For policemen was going to refer to four major Allied countries: United States, United Kingdom, Soviet Union, and Republic of China, which emerged in the Declaration by United Nations. Countries involved. The United Nations member states that there are 193 countries involved and have equal representation in the UN General Assembly. The original members of the United Nations were France, the Republic of China, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, the United States, Argentina, Brazil, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, Belarus, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Czechoslovakia, Denmark, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Egypt, El Salvador, Ethiopia, Greece, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, India, Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Liberia, Luxembourg, Mexico, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Nicaragua, Norway, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, the Philippines, Poland, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Syria, Turkey, Ukraine, Uruguay, Venezuela, and Yugoslavia. Foundation explained. The United Nations Foundation was launched in 1998 with $1 billion gift from Ted Turner to support the United Nations causes. The creation of the foundation was intended to encourage other donors to also support the UN in its activities. Its main issue areas that are the foundation addresses are child health, climate change and energy, sustainable development, technology, women, girls, and populations, and supporting the United Nations. Some of the biggest global campaigns that the UN Foundation has been involved in, including Nothing But Nets, the Measles and Rubella Initiative, the Clean Cooking Alliance, Girls Up, Shot Live, the Digital Impact Alliance, and Better World Campaign, among others. United Nations Foundation's original purpose was to build support for United Nations causes to make sure the United States honors its commitments to the United Nations. What are they doing to avoid conflict nowadays? The UN does this by working to prevent conflict. helping parties in conflict make peace, peacekeeping, and creating the condition to allow peace to hold and flourish. The UN Security Council has the primary responsibility for international peace and security of all the countries involved.